Happy Wednesday, Carl's Wine Club members, all of you across the country, and Mira Boucher sitting in the car here at soccer.
Yes, our boys joined soccer last week, so here they are. I'm just picking them up, and I'm so excited to finally relax with you guys.
Hey, do you know that it's illegal to drink in the car? Hopefully the car is stopped, right?
It's stopped, and thankfully I'm not the one who's got the glass of wine open in the car, though.
So everyone here,
if you can pass it through the screen to me, Carl, I will try it out.
Okay, open your mouth. Open your mouth. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming.
No, I'll be home in a few minutes. Then
there you go. So, Carl's Wine Club members, it's time. It's time. You get it? It's time. It's time week. This week we are featuring one of the classic of the Okanagan, one of the brand who are featuring wines from all over. Some wines we're sourcing grapes from all over the valley. This is a snapshot of the Okanagan under one umbrella. One of the brand involving a family with the most history in our business. You know, when we talk about like the foundation of the BC wine industry, we're talking about people involved in the Canadian wine industry for so long. Well, this is Time family of wine. This is Time, Chronos, Evolve, and Mcwater collection. We've been working with Kimberly, Undermark, Crystal Mcwater, and all of their teams for a while now, for many reasons. Because first, because they're great people. Second, because their winemaker makes some outstanding wine. And third, because Mira and I, absolutely love what they do. There's a few favorites here and there. And then also what I love is the diversity of their portfolio, right? From the Evolve, the Mcwater, like there's so many tiers that you can tap in depending on which kind of occasion that you're cracking a bottle. So, Mira, when we're talking about the whole Time portfolio, if you have to pick one, which one would you pick?
See, that's tough because I've tried a lot of them that I like. Their Syrah is one of my favorites.
Okay, I think that you're nailing it.
Every red I've tried. That Fourth Dimension one we tried a few weeks ago.
Syrah is empty, right? Like empty, done.
You know I liked it if it's empty. And then we even picked up a Magnum or a double Magnum the last time we were there of the Syrah.
Double Magnum. Magnum because I didn't want to disappoint you with the small little double bottle, so I went for the double. So yeah, no, we got the double Magnum of the Syrah 2014. That's what we've done last time.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so and I agree with you. The fourth dimension that we tried last week, off the freaking chart, so darn good. So you know what, Mira? So we need to give a shout to the Mcwater collection, right? Like the Shard and the Brut, like the last wine that Harry Mcwater had his hand on. So it is a classic. This wine will be an absolute classic for ages in the BC wine industry. So, yeah, privileged. That's how I feel this week to feature all of these amazing wines to our members across the country, because it's not everyone who has the chance to drive by Penticton and go sit down in their wonderful restaurant and wonderful tasting room and taste their wines and eat their, by the way, best burger I had in the Okanagan was at Time. And I maybe have to say best duck cassoulet that I had was at Time Kitchen. So anyhow, Mira.
So we love this place because, well, I love it for two reasons, right? One is the stories. Like Time has such a bunch of stories behind it, starting with Harry Mcwater's and then the family that's carried on, and it's just like a staple of the Okanagan. But then the second is, like you said, Carl, is the diversity. Like there's yet a wine that I have tasted from Time that I don't like, and some of my favorites are there. So it's such a diversity. I think there's like some whites that are really fabulous that I love. There's
the white Meritage. Come on, the Mcwater white Meritage. Like it's pretty darn freaking good.
So then I was joking. in the post from earlier. Hey, Xavier, now from BC. We got to see you in the Okanagan soon, I bet, because he's now way closer. So we were joking in the post, Meritage or Meritage, and it's Meritage, right? And we actually have someone from the winery to stop by. Maybe she'll fill us in on the backstory a little more. But Harry Mcwaters, who founded Time Family of Wines, was one of the fathers of Meritage as well, right?
Absolutely. How about, okay, get her out of the green room. Come on.
Yes,
We have someone
Kimberly.
who we've been dealing with. No, I have the privilege to share our wine experience with. Her name is Kimberly Undermark. She is the hospitality manager at Time Family of Wine. She runs the whole operation, for God's sake. She has her hand on everything. One of my favorite person in the biz. Kimberly, how are you doing?
Great, kids. How are you?
We're doing great. Doing great.
Good.
Can't complain. You know, it's warming up outside, finally. Right?
In a long winter.
And a long darn spring.
Yeah, that's the one thing I find about the Okanagan, though, is they're usually not a spring. You go from winter to spring and then summer. So it seems long, yeah, for sure.
Sounds like my complaint about Calgary here, but anyway. Kimberly, before we switch right in the thick of things, you've been involved in the wine industry for a very long time, and you held some pretty darn big position in the Ontario wine industry. I want to start with that because we have a large group of our members who are, right now, it's 8 o'clock down there, so at the beginning of the show, it's a lot of people from Ontario who are listening to us. So, Kim, how about you tell us a little bit, which kind of seat did you where you sit on before you decide, you and your husband, to move to Western Canada?
How long do you have?
You and Jeff.
Yeah, I know. So I started in the wine industry in Ontario back in the early 90s and held a number of executive roles with wineries in both Niagara-on-the-Lake and then 20 Valley. My last foray before we moved out here was the Niagara Grape and Wine Festival. I'm sure many of your viewers and wine club members have fell upon that festival a few times over their wine histories, but we fell in love with the Okanagan wine industry when we would come travel because of my job with the Niagara Grape and Wine Festival. And then Jeff, it was always a joke, who would get a job first? Jeff did. So Jeff got a winemaking gig first, and I followed after I wrapped up the Fall Festival in 2017. And in 2018, I went to work for the wine growers of British Columbia and executed all of their events until COVID hit. And then I was very fortunate that just right around the same time that role changed, this opportunity came to work for the Mcwaters family. And I had a relationship, although very brief, with Harry, just introducing us to people that we should talk to while we were out here visiting. And he was always such a gentleman and just a generous spirit. And then working at the Wine Growers BC, I got to meet Krista Lee because she was very involved with our board of directors as the chair and a number of other roles. So it seemed like one of those things that was meant to be. I was meant to be part of this. I was meant to be a storyteller for this legacy. And I just feel very impassioned about the BC wine industry overall. First and foremost, we are wine ambassadors for the BC wine industry. That's who we are as Time Family of Wines. But I'm very fortunate to have these incredible portfolios of wine to represent as well. So it's been a ride, but I'm still loving it.
And you know what? Like starting right in the thick of where the world is closed. What a heck of a challenge, And we had the chance to connect briefly, and I think our businesses have such a nice connection right from the get-go. So thanks for being here tonight. I'm excited to chat about the portfolio because, like Mira said, she loves the stories, she loves the whole thing behind. But to me, yes, the whole story is fantastic, but I love the juice in the glass. I love the juice in the bottles and the whole portfolio of wine. It's so diversified. And there's so many different options on this portfolio.
Mhm.
So, Kim, how about you describe a little bit about the different brands, like from the Evolve to the Time portfolio, the Mcwater. So what do we get when we open the Times of Family of Wine portfolio?
Well, when you're looking for those everyday wines, those come home from work, crack a nice chilled bottle of bubbles, or a nice crisp white wine, or just a nice easy drinking red blend, Evolve is your go-to. Wines are all priced under $25. The bubbles are in around $22, and they're just beautiful wines. Absolutely. The detail and the care that Lindsay, our Schatz, our winemaker, puts into every tier of the brand, it is outstanding. And I think in this particular offer, the Evolve Memento is being offered to the wine club members, and it's a blend of Cabernet Franc and Merlot with a little bit of Syrah. Beautifully balanced, rich, perfect. Oh, hey, Marcel. Nice to see you.
Well, one of a guy who's known across the country as well.
Yeah.
And guess what, Kim? We're bringing him here in the Okanagan in late May, early June. This guy with Lou are coming to celebrate with Carl's Wine Club and tour the whole Okanagan.
Are we ready? I don't know.
I don't think the world is ready for these guys, but you know what? We'll figure it out.
Well, I'd love to hang with them somewhere. Maybe we can arrange something that's mutually balanced as far as location goes.
I think we can make something happen like that. But Kim, just to take you back to the Evolve, you know, one thing, I love the splash of Syrah in that blend to bring some spice and bring a layer of depth. But you know what I love? It's ready to drink now. You know, it's spent the previous couple years to get where it is right now, and now it's absolutely shining. Like again, last night, Mira and I, we had another taste of it, and we're like, guess what? This wine will never get better than it is at this very moment. Like 2018 vintage, now like it's 4-year-old. Darn that it shines right now. Perfect spot in this curve.
Yeah, every day, throw it in with your roast beef or your pasta with a nice red sauce. Absolutely perfect.
Yeah. So that's for the Evolve brand. After that, we move into Chronos, I will believe, if we go in order of step 1, step 2.
Exactly. So Chronos is very varietal specific. So each of the varietals in that portfolio, starting with the Chronos Brut, and then Chardonnay, and then we get the unoaked Chard that, Carl, you have right now. I think that's in your glass.
That's what I got in my glass, the purity. Purity, right?
Yes, and then we also have a Sauvignon Blanc and a Semillon, a Riesling, and then a Rosé, which is 100% Syrah. And then we have our red blend. That's the only red blend, or the only blend in that series, called Auroboros. And Auroboros comes from the Summerland Dragon's Head, I think it's. I'm terrible with names, but anyway, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous blend. And that pretty much rounds out that portfolio. Everything is ready to drink, just very, very varietal centric. The style represents the varietal, which is really wonderful.
I think you're bang on when we're talking about, I think that's how I describe the Chronos Chardonnay. We're talking about purity. To me, like when we're talking about unoaked Chardonnay, that's where this wine shines, because it's chard in a nutshell, right? Absolutely. That's that green apple that I want. That's that bright acidity who absolutely reflect what we have here in the Okanagan. So if I had one word to describe Chronos Chard 2020, it's purity.
Absolutely, and it's great. And then, you know, you want to go to the other side of that in our Mcwater's line, the Legacy series. We have the Mcwater Chardonnay, which is your classic Chardonnay. It's all that butter and oak and balance and mouthfeel that just, my favorite. You want to talk about favorites? That's definitely mine. But the Mcwater series, I mean, that is our Legacy series. That's every day. That's a testament to this industry that Harry was responsible for building the foundation on for all of us to stand on now. So the Chardonnay, the new traditional brut, which is part of this release, and then the white Meritage, which we'll get to, and yeah, that's the four. And then the Meritage, of course, the Meritage. We have to talk about that.
Yeah, and I think Mira had touched about it a little bit in the opening of the show. It's about Meritage because Harry, he had his hand on so many things. He touches so many people, but one thing that it's a story that not a whole lot of people know, like about the Meritage, he was at the forefront of when in the 70s or early 80s, the American tried to bring a name for something that the Bordeaux people were very adamant to say, this is our blend. No one around the world can call it a Bordeaux blend because we're French and we're so good and we're from Bordeaux and we're going to protect that. So the Americans started a group to say, okay, how are we going to how can we be part of that? And Harry was part of that, and that's where the Meritage group has started. Right?
Yeah, Harry, in his time as the owner of Sumac Ridge, challenged the Meritage Association and went down and said, you know, we want to be able to call our Bordeaux blends Meritage, and they challenged him to even produce Bordeaux grapes in the. They thought he was a little bit crazy, much like back in the day, John Marinissen and Carl Kaiser and a lot of the personalities in Ontario. People thought they were crazy during the pullout to actually be brave enough to plant some of these incredible Bordeaux varietals, right? And here we are 50 years later, and we're getting stronger and stronger as a Canadian wine industry producing these incredibly big, beautiful red wines. So we have Harry to thank for that.
Absolutely, and that's how people with my kind of accent, with my French background, and when they start talking about Meritage, we all try to say, "Oh, Meritage." No, it's French. No, it's not. It's Meritage. I've got corrected so many times that I finally got the whole why, because it didn't start in France, that whole thing. It's an American thing, and Harry brought it here in Canada. And just for reference to our people who listen, Meritage, the Bordeaux blends are these beautiful big red blends where are based with Merlot, Cabernet Franc, Cabernet Sauvignon, Malbec, Petit Verdot. So these red blend called the Bordeaux blend, that's where we refer to Meritage. But there's also the white Meritage.
Yes.
I believe that the Mcwater white Meritage is probably the best white Meritage produced in Canada. That outstanding blend of Semillon and Sauvignon Blanc. Almost 50-50 split. I may be wrong on the 5% on either side, but these are the two classic white grape from the beautiful region of Bordeaux. And once again, our superior friends from France have decided to protect that. We can call it the Bordeaux blend. So this is a white Meritage. It's in your glass tonight.
It is. It's one of my favorites as well. It's 55% Sauvignon Blanc and 45% Semillon. And the 50% of the Semillon went into French oak. So there is a nice roundness in the wine because of that. But it is again, a beautiful reflection of both of these varietals as they're blended together. They temper each other, and they're a beautiful alternative to a Chardonnay or a Viognier, something that has that classic richness. And it's usually one that's in my glass for sure. Absolutely beautiful. And it was in the Time Winery line for previous to the 2020, but because we've created this legacy series for Harry now, we felt it was appropriate to move it back under the Mcwater's collection label.
Absolutely appropriate. Absolutely appropriate. And before we move to the timeline, I would like to spend a couple minutes just to talk about the Brut, the 2017 Mcwater Brut. It's always a little bit emotional when we talk about that wine because the unfortunate passing of Harry. But I think this wine was the last one that he has his hand on. Mm-hmm. And now with that release, I think that we are extremely privileged to be able to offer that to our member because there's not a whole lot available. And especially because you guys wanted the winery to be able to preserve some of these beauties for later on, to live every year, relive that legacy a little bit more and more. But tell us a little bit about that wine.
Well, this wine was to honor Harry's, well, it was Harry's 50th vintage in the wine industry. And he felt it appropriate, being that he made the first traditional sparkling at Sumac Ridge back at that time, that he released under the Time label, the Mcwater's label, this traditional brut. And it's 65% Chardonnay and 25% Pinot Noir and 10% Pinot Blanc. It was on triage for 40 months. And Harry did pass away in 2019, so he was, halfway there. And this year we launched it just before Christmas, and it is superb wine. It was 42 months actually triage before disgorgement. And then the brioche on this, it's just, to me, it is so classic. Everything about it is just remarkable. And it's exactly the way a sparkling wine should be. It's absolutely beautiful.
To me, it's the depth into that wine, right? It's not something that you get into one sip. It's something that evolves in your glass, and it takes an hour or two to wrap your head around the whole thing, because there's so many things. From the acidity is just, again, that's our gift from the Okanagan, but there's that lees steer, that richness, and that to me, again, the depth and the classic. So yeah, this is a beautiful gift that we have here, and the privilege to taste. We did together a couple of months ago with the Robbie at the winery, and I just love the way he described it. And for me, it's just classic. Okanagan complexity. So yeah.
Yeah, it's just the whole mouthfeel of that is unlike a lot of your Charmant styles. They can't stand up to something like this. And during the process of winemaking, you're talking about the lees vibe there. It's 100% the stirring that went on, the lees stirring that went on during the fermentation process. So it's obviously very evident to someone with your nose and palate, but it's exactly what we want it to be. It's a showcase of something very special and a tribute to Harry. So we're very excited to be able to share it with your guests, with your club members, because it's not something that we would normally release to club members. It would only be our club members. So that's how special your group is.
You make us feel really, really special. That's for sure. I know I have Mira here in the car, just waiting for the storm to come back in at 5:30. The kids are coming back. Mira, hop in for another second if you have time, just before the storm. Is she? No, maybe not. Okay.
Holding them off.
Yeah, I know. Holding the fort. She's awesome. So yeah, and again, to round up that outstanding portfolio, it's the time lineup. And when we're talking about the big reds, what we can offer here from the south of the Okanagan, especially when it's in terms of sourcing the grapes and the relationship of the Mcwater family. I think, to me, that's one of the gifts that has been passed on to the Time family of wine, is the opportunity to go source the best grape from the south of the Okanagan right now. And when we're talking about a Cabernet Sauvignon, 100%, or the Cap Franc, or the beautiful Syrah, and these wines are really, the purity of these wines from the south of the Okanagan are fantastic. So a little bit of what we have here. What's impressed me? 2018 was pretty harsh on many wineries in terms of smokes. And I started my reviews, and especially the Syrah in the fourth dimension, and I expressed the same thing with the Cap Franc when I tasted it at Cap Franc. It's clean. All of these big reds are clean of smokes. And this is not happening too often when we go through a whole portfolio of 2018 wines, and where we see clean wine across the board. So
we were really fortunate that year that the growers that we have they seem to not feel the effect of the smoke, because there were little pockets throughout the Okanagan that were free of that. The south in particular, where most of our reds come from, there wasn't as much fire in 2018 down south as there was, you know, a little bit further up. So we were very blessed that year. Everything happens for a reason, right? And, you know, Harry's not with us to enjoy these wines, but he was with the intent. He was very much involved with those 2018s, because that's when we first opened this location. So it was a very special time for him to have his first crush here and his first fermentation here, and, you know, aging here, and to be able to see these wines finish the way they did is again a testament to Lindsay and her ability to finish those wines off. Graham Pierce did start them, and then Lindsay finished them. So we're really thrilled with them. She's done an incredible job.
It's quite of a passing, because you're looking at Harry started it. Graham Pierce is still a pretty big name in the winemaking, in the south of the Okanagan, with his long tenure at Black Hills Estate, and all of the history he has with the Nota Bene. Mm-hmm. And now Lindsay, and more I can see, tasting the new vintages now, more and more I can see her hand, I can see her thumbprint, fingerprint on these new wines coming up. She is an upcoming star coming up, and coming into the. And is it me, or is she local? Was she born and raised in the Okanagan before going out? Yes. She was, eh?
Yeah. So she did. Her education was in Australia, and then she did some time. It sounds like she's in jail, but she did a period of time in Ontario, and then over on the island, and then came back here and started with time about 2 weeks before Harry passed away.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
And just before I let you go, just 3 big wines that I tasted from the time portfolio lately. Let's backtrack in November when we did the International Cabernet Franc Day. Mm-hmm. And the time Cabernet Franc literally finished in the top 5. With the 2018, we had for Cap Franc, there was like 28 different Cabernet Franc from across the country. And while we know how Cap Franc from Ontario can shine more than often, and times came up strong with their 2018 Cap Franc. And after that, 2018 vintage again with the Syrah Day that we just did this year. The times was, I think, came up at number 6 out of 35 different Syrahs. So again, an outstanding showing, and that Syrah is part of. And to me, that Syrah is just so well balanced, like not over spicy, not overripe, not too much Rhone style. It's right down the middle. This is, to me, it's the perfect crowd pleaser Syrah, because we cannot just define that Syrah as a big and bold, and it's not that one that you say, oh God, this is the typical Northern Rhone. No, it's right down the middle, so it can appeal to every type of Syrah drinker. So I'm going to steal a little bit of the Mira's line. Like Mira really like that one. I think on Mira's list was number 2 of the whole lineup on Syrah Day. So yeah, that's Syrah. And to end it with, a couple weeks ago, we cracked the 4-dimension red blend with one of our steak dinner. It was our first steak dinner when we moved to our new house, and say, okay, tonight we're opening that bottle. And I gave it near 93 points, 92 plus. I just love how that wine is shining right now. 2018 vintage again. I love how to bring out like the Meritage with the splash of, or a generous portion. Yeah. With this one, it's a generous portion of Syrah. I love it more and more. Every time I see that blend, I'm always attracted to it. And this wine absolutely over-delivered. Mm-hmm. Because these days, it's not rare to see a very good red blend, but around the $50, $55 mark. Like we see a lot of that on the market now. This wine over-deliver for the price point, to my opinion. and would be my go-to barbecue wine this summer. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
And we won't let marketing hear about how the value should be way up there. But you know, your wine club members always have access to other wines. So if they're placing an order with this club offering, if there's something else they wanted to add in, by all means, Carl, happy to
thank you. Oh, that is very kind of you. And I know that you guys are producing how many different type of bubbly? It's becoming, I lost track. I just don't even count them all now.
I know, I do too. 6. We have 3 in Evolve, and then Time, Chronos, and Mcwaters.
So 6 different bubblies, eh?
Yeah.
Wow. Absolutely amazing. And before I let you go, because now I already take way too much of your time, but tell me a little bit about the new project that you guys have been involved to. The District Wine Village, because again we have lots of people who listen from Ontario, and often I get some email. What's that District Wine Village? Tell us more, Carl, about it. And I think it's such an amazing project that has been started 1.5 years ago, and now you guys are right in the thick of it. So
it is the coolest project. I remember years ago back in Ontario, Jeff and I used to talk about the fact that wouldn't it be cool if we did some sort of collaborative project like this for virtuals, because then it's shared equipment, shared resources. But here in BC, we went to town with it. So it is, it's located in Oliver, and it's a combination of 10 wineries, I want to make sure I get it right, maybe 11 wineries, a distillery, and a brewery. And we share equipment. We each have our own production space at the back of our retail space. And we have these beautiful patios. There's an amphitheater, and everything's in a circle. It's all about connection and circle and family. And it honestly, it's a great collaborative effort. It's a lot of small upstarts, but then there are larger wineries like ourselves, or Incomeep, out of Arterra, that are looking at this as a marketing tool. And I'll tell you, the interest in it, it's become a tourist destination overnight.
Absolutely.
It's a cool vibe. You can stop in there, spend a half a day, visit a whole bunch of different wineries, have lunch, listen to some great music, have a glass of wine, have a beer, and in this beautiful outdoor space in the middle of the desert at the base of McIntyre's Bluff. Every day that I go down there, and I'm not down there all the time, but when I do, I don't want to leave. It's absolutely beautiful and breathtaking, and such an incredible
the energy in there is just special. Like every time that I stand in the middle and I look around, there's like that magnetic energy who's just like keep me. It's amazing. I love that, and more it's becoming a spot where a concert, like they're bringing bigger and bigger name to play for.
Aaron Pritchett in May, he's a country artist, and then we have 5440 in June. August we have Kim Mitchell, and September we have Emerson Drive, and then we'll have music throughout the year with some smaller, more emerging talent. But yeah, it's great. 700 people, all in one place. There's lots of transportation to get people in and out. Yeah, it's awesome. I love the energy. You hit it right on the head. The energy is so cool.
Yeah, I think Mira and
I remember that day.
I was thinking of that video. I'm like, I hope she's not gonna put that off. Oh no. It was last year, right at the opening. You guys were setting up your store for the first time, and it was raining. Oh my God! Thanks, Mira. I love that when you feature my rain dance.
It was October. I think that was the Oktoberfest. Actually, we did
exactly. You're 100%. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah, it's a really cool spot. There we are over there in the corner. But,
there you go.
But every winery does something a little different. But it's all consistent look and feel. Our patio looks a lot nicer now, I'll just say.
There you
It
go.
has like reflective pools everywhere that kids love to seem to run through. But it's wonderful. We feel so privileged to be part of this initiative, and because we have, you know, a couple years between Crystalie and myself in the industry, I feel like we're going to be able to lend something to the future of this, and we're so excited to be part of it.
And I think that the UBC Okanagan or no, Okanagan College now are establishing themselves with so that part, to me, when you bring the learning part, the student to be doing testing, and like this is, to me, that's the quintessence of the whole concept, right? Let's bring the new talent around here, and let's make it a full development center. So this is really darn cool.
I look at what the Canadian Food and Wine Institute did for the Niagara wine industry, the Ontario wine industry, and it was palpable. It was a change maker for sure, and I think that we're on the path now to that as well.
Absolutely. And you guys, like, if you've ever been in, like, the Mcwater family have ever been in the forefront of these big development, it makes so much sense that you guys are in there leading the whole way again. So Kim, thank you so much for taking some time. Here you go. She's back.
Came back from soccer. This is great. So I know I might have missed it, but if we're going to set the record straight, it's Meritage like heritage, right?
Yeah. Marriage, heritage. Marriage of reds, heritage, tradition.
Yeah. Yeah. And so if you ever want to try a Meritage, why not go with the guys that I think do it really, really well, who helped start it, right?
You got it.
Kim, it's time now to jet back up north of the valley. I will let you go. I want to thank you, and to all of our members. The offer goes on until tomorrow night, and get your hand on these very special wines. So thank you, Kim. Have a great evening, and I will swing by. I'll swing by tomorrow before lunch to drop off the flyers.
Okay, I'll be waiting.
I have them ready.
Okay.
Thank
you, Kim.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, that's great.
There you go.
Well, now that I'm home, you have to tell me what wines we have open here.
So what do we have open? You have a little bit downstairs.
If you're still with us, tell us what you've got open if you've opened something tonight.
Yeah, so downstairs you have a bottle of Kronos Chardonnay that we had last night and you really, really like. Yeah. So I saved a little bit of so you have some left. I have in my glass here some of the Evolve 2018, the Memento, the Red Blend, Cap Franc, Merlot, and a splash of Syrah. If you look at that color, this wine is absolutely ready to drink. Love what it delivers for the price point. This is a great value wine. So what we've done, Kim and I, Mira, we went over the whole portfolio line by line from the old Evolve to Kronos, Mcwater, and we talk about some of our favorites, and we also spend a little bit more time with the Mcwater Brut 2017. How special this is. The why it is so special, the why in the bottle, then the why up in the sky. So
because of this guy,
started
BQA, started Meritage, a lot of things he helped start. So that's awesome.
Exactly. So here we are. So soccer was good. So you're back at it here, and I'm gonna be heading to
baseball
in 10-minute time. So let's talk about a little bit about this very specific portfolio. Some of our favorite. I think we talk about it with Kimberly in the sense that just explaining the members a little bit about these portfolios. But in terms of Carl and Mira and Carl's Wine Club, we had some absolutely wonderful experiences with the whole portfolio. especially a couple weeks ago when we got when we cracked the 4 dimension. I think to me it is one of my favorite red blends in the last that I can remember. And this week, this summer will be one of our go-to barbecue wine. Just absolutely fantastic. The Syrah was one of your favorite of Syrah, correct?
Mm-hmm. Actually, I have to go get it. Hang on one second.
Okay. I'll keep going here. But yeah, like we mentioned many times, it's all about the diversity of that portfolio. From the
All right. Here's
one of our babies. You got it. Okay.
You see this thing? This is the Impulse by, what was it? Our Valentine's Day present to each other?
Yeah, I guess so, because it was early February and we had lunch with Kimberly at times. We were at the winery. Look at that, baby. Take the lid off, take it off, and you can pull the bottle out. Double Magnum. Yes, there you go. That's the Double Magnum.
And it's 14, I guess.
2014 Syrah. Bottle etched, a beautiful piece of collection. And okay, let's get back to that day. So we're sitting at the winery, having a tremendous lunch. And Robbie, who used to be the estate manager at that point, and I want to let you know.
He just said fantastic wines. I agree.
Yeah, and Robbie gave us an absolutely like when we're talking about a wine experience, we went through at least 12 to 15 wines and dissect them. And we had 2 geeks together, right? We were just enjoying, and Mira and Kimberly was just chatting. Anyway, a wonderful time. And at some point, Mira is staring at that table in the back room, and she's looking at the large format. And I know, she is looking at the large format. So at some point, I just went to see what they had there. And I was like, okay, double magnums. And anyway, I put my hand on that double magnums and walk home with it.
Do you know why I like these large format wines? Because you know that you're going to open that for something special where you're gathering with people. And I think that's what this brand, this winery, is all about. It's about connection, right? And Kimberly mentioned it earlier. It's all about connecting with others and having amazing memories and just feeling really good being yourself.
That's what it is. And that's why there's so many choices in this portfolio. That because you have wines for every single occasion, right? That can be the Evolve sparkling that you can pop anytime in the morning. Did I say in the morning? I'm just joking. Wow. But also these, you feel like Chardonnay, pure Chardonnay. Chronos will absolutely deliver that. Mcwater collection for special thing. And these big reds for times. I haven't been disappointed with any of these big reds from times. They're also, and then we know that it's pretty rare to find great Cabernet Sauvignon, pure cab from the south of the Okanagan. It has to be from the perfect vintage, but these guys deliver such a great 100% cab sauv as well. So yeah, so much fun working with that whole portfolio, so much history behind it.
Yeah.
And for the food that they deliver there, it's also pretty darn good.
I would agree.
I probably mentioned it earlier during the show, but yeah, best burger I had in the Okanagan at the tasting room. They have a fantastic restaurant, and you can get a glass of pretty much any of these wines. Like they are very well set there. I love their setup. They're in Penticton, so
amazing. And the wine village, the new wine village, as we were saying. So
yes, awesome. And the wine. Oh, by the way, they are the only one to carry the Enovino at the wine village.
At the wine village, that's right.
At the wine village, you're exclusive with our Enovino,
which is like a wine aerator and filter and pourer and stopper in one. It's a great little tool. I think it's about $45.
Retail.
that retails, but we love this thing. We no longer decant our wines. Like,
nope, no need for that anymore.
95% of the time, we don't bring out the decanter. We use this little aerator. It saves time, and it just like noticeably changes the wine.
Absolutely. How many people that we've done the trick so far, right? A little splash of non-Enovino, a little splash of the Enovino, and like it's night and day how your wine opened up right away. So yeah, really fantastic little tool. So
yeah.
Anyhow,
hey, we got finally tickets opening up very soon for our member events. So all of you who've been saving the date, like we were saying, June 3rd for BC in Caledon and June 24th, right?
We have secured a vertical tasting with Rob Amersley at Black Market. So the day of the event, we'll have a very special 16 tickets. We're going to open up for an hour and a half vertical tasting with Rob and the walk in the vineyard afterward, just before that the other 50 people arrive for the regular party. So yeah, if you're interested to that, send me a note. We can put your name on the pre-purchase list, let's put it that way. So yeah, June 3rd at Black Market, the first ever club members party, barbecue style with a little roast or something. We're cooking with the chef right now from the area, so to do a nice something on the grill or on a stick or something special at the winery, but vertical tasting for a small amount of people. And at night, you know what's the cool thing with that party? The cool thing would be, yes, we're having our party at one of the top winery that we've dealt with, one of our favorite, and obviously the members' favorite, because they were voted Carl's Wine Club Members' Choice Award. So Black Market, we're going to do some tasting of Black Market, maybe some barrel tasting of one of Rob's wine. But guess who's going to be in town? Who? The Carl's Wine Club Members' Choice Award from Ontario. So Bella Terra crew, Marcel Morgenstern and Lou and Fred are going to be present at that party in the Okanagan. And what we came up with as an idea, we're going to taste Black Market wine and Bella Terra wine, the little guided tasting from these guys. The Bella Terra crew, Black Market, Carl and Mira, tasting wines with you from across the country. It has never been done before. So we are pretty darn excited about that.
It's going to be amazing. So much fun. And there's other things that I hope we can pull off by then. So sabering station, possibly a collaborative art piece. We'll see what we can pull together in the next couple of weeks.
Also, a picture station. With like photo booths, like on the tractor, like the Black Market tractor, where people can get on there and get some cool pictures.
If you can be in the Okanagan on June the 3rd, Friday, that will be epic. And if you can be in Niagara June 24th, that will be epic. So hope we can.
Yep. So and guess what? Okay, the coolest part of all of that is, yes, the Bella Terra crew will be at Black Market for the Black Market party. And when Black Market heard that Bella Terra is going to be at their own party, they said, guess what? We're going to go there as well. So now we're having the confirmation that Black Market's crew is going to be at Bella Terra for the Ontario party. So the coolest thing ever. We were so excited to see these.
Clay heard that Carl is giving piggyback rides. Clay, this was a secret surprise. No. Yeah, maybe.
Hi, Clay. Can I borrow your missing teeth to do that? Your missing tooth to do that?
Clay had a little accident. I think that's what Carl is suggesting there. Installing some windows, right, Clay? Sorry to hear.
Yeah, breaking a tooth. Installing windows.
It could happen to you, Carl, if you give enough piggyback rides. So.
Yeah, in the vineyard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why
No,
not?
but we're just
right?
doing some of the details for that, and I think it'll be pretty special
Yeah.
because it's rare that you actually get to have events in vineyards around here. They actually have to close down their winery license for the night for us so we can have a special event license. And so, yeah, this is a very special kind of opportunity to have that kind of evening there. Can't wait.
Sorry. And also, like the cool thing is we're doing that party, but on both sides of the country. One early June at Black Market, and one late June at Bellaterra.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm way more relaxed than I was an hour ago. So I really appreciate everyone stopping by and celebrating Wine Wednesday with us. Woo!
Again, and I think that's 5:55 instead of like today. Usually we always go longer. Today I might just go a little shorter so I can head out and go help my team, our softball team, to not get too much behind early in the game. So yeah, I hope that everyone is look at your calendar. Let us know if you're available early June to come and join us in person for the first ever Carl's Wine Club members party. And for the rest of the week until tomorrow night is time night. And yeah, it was going to be awesome. We have an awesome portfolio available until tomorrow night. And should we let people know that tomorrow morning the awesome Meritage wine are available again?
Yes, we have to reactivate that link, but there's been a lot of people asking, and Meritage rarely ships out of Ontario, so we've convinced them to reactivate their link with us, which makes it easy to place your orders, and so we'll send that out to all those interested in Meritage tomorrow.
Yeah, so Meritage, one of the most beloved offer from Ontario.
Well, not tomorrow, actually Friday, right? Like, because
tomorrow. Yeah, about tomorrow late afternoon when the anyway. Yeah. So Meritage is coming up as a reorder for people who wants to order more, and Times, that outstanding portfolio of wines from the Okanagan Valley, open for order until tomorrow night. So you're a boucher. Thanks for your effort to go back and forth to the soccer club. So thank you.
Busy night tonight.
Thank you to Kimberly Undermark for joining us tonight and have that great wine chat again. So Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members, thank you all for joining us on Wine Wednesday. We'll see you later next time.
Cheers.